Greetings trainers and contest coordinators. My name is Megbanian, but if it's easier, I also go by Jesse. Back in 2006, Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl hit the market by storm, heavily improving on the battle system and introducing some much-needed evolutions to Pokemon who were mediocre at best. Looking at you, Sneasel. 15 years later, trainers all around the globe were pleasantly, but not so surprised when Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were announced. These faithful remakes have a chibi style that's reminiscent of the originals and are sure to bring a smile to our faces. Some players felt the overwhelming nostalgia when Generation 3 remade its games into Omega Ruby and Apple Sapphire, but to me, Pokemon Platinum was the first game I ever played, and even 12 years later, it still holds a special place in my heart. Though I was late to the party. When these remakes were announced, I just couldn't get the grin off my face. I felt the same amount of love I had for the originals while watching the chibi-style trainers roam Sinnoh once more. I had my hopes up that they'd be just as memorable as the originals by keeping a lot of the games already had to offer, but improving the system by giving favorite features an overhaul, just like they did in other remakes used prior. And, well, the dev team did not disappoint. Though not much information has been released for these games, with a little less than 3 months remaining, Nintendo has graced us with a second trailer for the games and some information on new features and updates that have been added to spice up its gameplay. Features such as the Underground and contests have been updated, while trainer customization and Pokemon following the player, which are present in the other entries, have made a return. We have only seen a small sneak peek of what customization will be like, but personally to me it feels similar to the customization in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where the player had a few complete outfits to choose from. However, it did not have the ability to mix and match different articles that they could in Generation 6, 7, and 8. The provided outfits were beautifully done, but it's a bit of a shame to see you couldn't make your own outfits. However, I have hope that despite this, there will be a wide variety of styles for both male and female players for a unique look that sets us apart from each other. With how many generations Nintendo has blessed us with trainer models that we can customize to our heart's desire thus far, it would have honestly been a crime to not include some way to set our trainers apart from the others. Although it isn't as detailed as Sword and Shield's customization, it's still a cute feature that makes gameplay a bit more personal. Also revealed was the Union Room. However, we haven't gotten any information on it aside from its return. With the ability to dress up our chibis, I'm looking forward to hearing whether or not our outfit choices will show up to other players. The Grand Underground is a returning feature polished with new gameplay and places to explore. Back in the day, when we weren't locked indoors and unable to see our friends, I spent a good chunk of my time just getting lost in the not-so-endless labyrinth with my younger brother, digging up precious gemstones and items, digging 11-year-old sized holes in the wall, which probably did not do the structure of the already obnoxiously sized maze any good, decorating my base to my heart's content, and searching for his base so I can rob him of his precious flags for the sole purpose of rubbing it in his face with a Schmeat-eating grin. Then, much later in the game, I discovered you can obtain a ghost Pokemon named Spiritomb via gathering 50 flags. So, in order to do that, I did everything a normal kid would do. Steal my brother's DS, toss him in the underground, and then proceed to steal his flag over and over again until I got my spinny purple boy. I think most of my post-game hours were clocked in while I was playing in the underground. In this rendition of the underground, the map has been changed ever so slightly, including a wide variety of mystery squares that appear to be new areas that unlock, depending on the items you have for display within your secret base. With an area unlocked, the player can then explore a large cave which consists of a unique terrain such as a volcano. Within these areas, Pokemon spawn and can be battled and captured, just like any other Pokemon. Certain species can only be found in these areas, however it is unknown which ones at this time. On top of that, the Underground is designed for both local and online play, giving players a chance to interact with their friends from all around the globe. No longer will you be the sole player, wandering aimlessly in the dark reaches of Sinnoh's underground system, longing for companionship because all your friends live too far away. Now, you'll never have to be alone, as players will probably have to compete in order to gain the best gemstones to buy goods for their bases and setting traps just outside their friends' doors just to rub salt on the wound. The underground was such a big part of my childhood that I cannot help but grin while watching the player drop below the surface. Just like I did in ye old childhood, I'll be going off to war, collecting every flag in sight in order to reclaim my spinny boy. However, this time around, the battleground will be much larger, containing a lot more players to steal from. If you aren't booby-trapping everything in sight, I don't know why you're participating. Jokes aside, it's one of the things I'm most excited about. Before we get into the other big thing that was given a much-needed overhaul in the latest trailer, I'd like to give a bit of attention to a feature that I've longed to see in newer generations. Alas, this feature was only available in Generation 4, including the Generation 2 Gold and Silver remakes that were released at that time. Seals, or now known as stickers in the remakes. My first experience with the Gen 4 games was in elementary school before I got my DS and a copy of Platinum. A kid that sat next to me was putting seals on their Pokeballs on their copy of Diamond. I fell in love with the small yet cute feature, and after seeing the effects in their full animated glory in the Diamond Pearl anime, I made it my goal to get as many stickers as possible in my own copy, so I did. A large chunk of my savings from kicking gently their butt and bullying small children and their beavers went towards buying as many of each kind of seal as I possibly could, and covering my team's balls with them. It got to the point where I changed out the seals every single time I swapped team members with ones in my boxes, and watched the opening animation half a dozen times until I was satisfied with the results. Though this was an incredibly small feature within the game, I found it the perfect way to express my love of the team by having them appear in the right and fire and glitter. It was that small touch that gave Kid Me a chance to flex on NPC trainers and show them how much better I was than them. However, seals weren't just a mechanic used in Pokemon battles. They were also used to give your Pokemon a bit of flair in the Pokemon contest which took place within the region. Pokemon contests first debuted in Generation 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald versions, and were then given a new coat of paint and updated mechanics in Generation 4. The contest served 4 ranks and 5 categories. In order to thrive within the contest, the player had to create Poffins to increase their sheen and stats in one or more of the 5 categories, as well as become a berry farmer in order to obtain more outfits which added to the Pokemon's look and was sure to score more points in the first segment. The first segment was called the Visual Competition. Pokemon will be dressed up in a variety of accessories and outfits, and judged based on specific traits. It's cool, smart, cute, beautiful, and tough. The second portion is a dance competition where the player had to mimic the leader's moves by pressing buttons on the D-pad according to the beat. The closest player to getting the dance right got the most hearts. The third portion was the acting competition, which involved Pokemon showing off their move pools. Each move had a number of unique stats and traits, and some hindered the opponents while boosting the player's score. Judges would give the player an extra heart if they were the only one to perform for them, and if their bar reaches max, the last Pokemon who performed for them that round will receive a huge boost. However, on the other hand, if more than one Mon performed for the same judge, there may be negative consequences. Subsequently, by using a move that is not the same trait as you were performing in, such as a cute move in a cool contest, this would make the judge unhappy and they'll take a heart away. This is not negative, as a smart player can do this to avoid the judge giving out extra hearts to NPC players. Contests make a return in the remake with updated graphics and follows a similar concept. However, we don't have enough information about them to tell for sure if they'll work in the same manner as the originals, or if they'll have some form of twist or change made to spice things up. Though contests weren't as popular as gym battles, they provided a side activity they do occasionally over knockout and post-game. The player often got good rewards such as more accessories, so it was at least worth trying those for. I absolutely loved contests when I was younger and still do even to this day. I had a special ride shoe that I had bred with Volt Tackle named Sparky that I compete with, and became a rather experienced coordinator. However, I have never been able to complete a contest, at least not in Generation 4. The player's mom is a former coordinator and she is a difficult combatant to beat. Sparky and I tried over and over, but alas, I was unable to beat her. To this day, I've yet to beat my player's mom, but in the Diamond and Pearl remakes, I plan on making it my mission to finish what I started all those years ago. I am very, very excited to have a feature I loved when I was younger make another return in full glory. I recently started playing Platinum again and got to experience contests for what they were, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in HD. On top of some of these larger features being overhauled, there are many smaller ones we have yet to see that I'm looking forward to learning if they too received an update, or if they were cut from the game, such as features like the Battle Frontier, Poffin making, the Distortion World, and a wide variety of other things which provided almost endless activities to explore throughout the game and within the post-game. As an old fan of the series and someone who has played almost every installment that's released so far, I am incredibly excited to return to a game which grabbed my heart and introduced me into the series. Since then, I've been an avid Pokemon fan and a follower of the series well into my teens and 20s. I don't see any chance of stopping now, especially when not one, but 2 new games are releasing within months of themselves, both of which take place within the Sinnoh region and explore 2 different eras with a wide range of problems and activities to explore and complete. In the following months, we are sure to hear more about the improvements the game has to offer, as well as more information on already showcased features like the ones I've talked about today, and is sure to excite fans even more. If you'd like to learn about the other Sinnoh-based game set to be released in a few months, feel free to check out my partner's video on Pokemon Legends Arceus. Whether you are a new player picking up the first Pokemon game or a seasoned trainer who feels like getting their ass kicked by one of the toughest champions in the series, Cynthia, and her aggressive monsters such as her incredibly powerful Garchomp, There's something in store for everyone in the generation which changed the competitive scene with its overhaul of the typing system by introducing the physical special split. Even if ranked battles will not be present this time around. Sorry trainers, but you'll have to play Sword and Shield for a little bit longer. If you'd like to follow along for more updates and explore other content, leave a like and feel free to subscribe to Team PK Unite for more.